learn stuff. Yeah.
All right, we're going to start from scratch and get you up and running with WordPress and how to make a really quick and straightforward website with that platform, WordPress.com, for free. You can always pay for upgrades, but if you have pretty basic needs for your web page, you can get a free web page using WordPress.com. So go to WordPress.com as the actual URL. Don't go to WordPress.org. WordPress.com is where the free option is. And if you already have a WordPress account from some web creation adventures in the past, then you could log in. But if not, say get started, and then it's going to ask you to create an account. So put in an email address that works for you. I'm going to put in just a made up one. The dog's name is Pepper, so pepperdoggo@gmail.com. And we will put in a username. It can be pretty similar. Pepperdoggo21. Choose a password. There we go. And create an account. Perfect. So I've got an account with WordPress now. Not going to save that for now. And we're going to choose a domain. So your domain is basically your address. You all know what a domain is. It's how you search. You go to gmail.com, you go to wordpress.com, you go to facebook.com, whatever the URL is for your website and whatever it may be. Now, this is something to think about and make careful choices about um, as far as the branding and the marketing of your business or your whatever your website may be about. But the only thing to remember here is that in the free version, you cannot change this once you get started. The moment you want to change your domain name after you've started building your website, it will ask you to pay for that. It's no longer part of the free package. So make a careful choice here and take your time. Let's just call it same thing, Pepper Doggo. Um, and you want to go look for the free version. Now you'll see that to get the actual pepperdoggo.ca, this is the first opportunity to upsell you to get you to not have a free website. But the trick to having a free website in WordPress is you must have .wordpress after your name. So even though I want the website Pepperdoggo, because that could be my website for my dog business or a dog babysitting or house sitting business or whatever you want to pretend we're creating. But you got to have WordPress.com at the end of your website if you want the free version. So we'll say free. Now here, you'll see that there's all these sort of scary monthly fees. And not to worry, all you have to do is start with a free site. Just click on Start with a free site. Now, if you do mistakenly click on Personal or one of these, it is easy to, not easy, it is doable to just say no to everything that costs money and kind of revert it back to a free site. But for now, make sure you say Start with a free site. There we go. Now this is the dashboard. The dashboard is basically under the hood. It's like working on the engine or crawling under your car to fix something, and it is not the actual website. This is the behind the scenes setup location, and you can view your website separately from that as two different views, sort of behind the scenes, backstage, the dashboard, we call this, and the website itself is different. So you can see that the site title is here, pepperdoggo.wordpress.com. And if you want to see it, you can actually just click on this home button here, and you can see your site. Now, don't worry, this is just the generic default template that's set up for you, but we're not going to do this. We're not going to um, look at it in this weird preview way. I'm going to show you a cool way to view your website that's a little bit more um, conducive to design and to working. So I'm going to go back to the pages view or home, whatever you want to click on here to get out of that. And instead what we're going to do is quickly duplicate this tab. So we're going to duplicate this tab, look for duplicate. Your browser could have a different word for it, but duplicate it. Now I've got two tabs exactly the same. And then I'm going to say to view my site, click on the same button. And then here I'm going to say visit site. There. Now the result is this. Now I'm going to dismiss this little extra ad here telling me my site isn't published yet, but that's good. That's okay. Say dismiss. And then what I have now, I'm going to delete this one here, is two tabs. One is the dashboard, the other is the site. And now I don't have to be constantly clicking on the view button to preview it. I simply switch back and forth between viewing my site and making changes to my site. When I switch to the view the site, you'll probably want to do a cycle or do a refresh of the page to see any changes you applied. Okay, so there we're kind of set up. Now let's go back to the dashboard. And the first thing we're going to do is make some pages. And you can see that the default here is there's a home button and a blog button, and then this filler stuff, which is fine, but it can be annoying, and it's created every time you create a new free website. So first we're going to do is create our own pages and delete all that foolishness. So now click on the Pages tab here in the dashboard. And we're going to eventually delete both of these and create our own. So you'll notice that this home button is got an indicator of home, and it will, underneath the ellipse, these little three buttons here on the far end from each one of your pages allow you to select a different page as the home page. Okay. Only thing you need to know right now is that if you want to delete these pages, you can't delete your home page. You have to create a new page and call it home. So we'll forget about these right now, and we'll add our own and then delete these. You can, while we're here though, let's delete the blog page. We might as well do that. So let's go along from the page called blog and click on the three dots and say trash. Now it's not permanently gone. You can always go into the trash and undo that, or delete your trash, just like your trash in your computer's desktop. You might have a trash container. Same thing. You can always pull it back from the trash. It's not completely gone. It's just hidden away in the trash. Now we can't delete the home page until we create our own home page and make something else the home page. Then we can delete this. So now it's time to add our own pages. And we're just going to pretend your pages can be whatever you want for whatever topic you want. We're just going to pretend we're making a little um, uh, like a little business or a little website for my dog, let's say. Um, and we're going to go add new page. All right, now when you say add new page, it tries to get you to pick from these built-in page templates. Now you can always start with a blank page, and I find that's good for beginners to understand the blank page and how to build something from scratch in a blank page. But be aware that these page templates are available to you. It'll save you a lot of work, and they're cool. But you can, with some effort, build something in the blank page that does reach this level of attractiveness. But don't hesitate to use these if you want to, especially once you've gotten comfortable with the process. To keep things simple and understandable for a first time build, let's go with blank page. Okay, but there's tons of page templates that give you a lot of layouts and blocks of area to work within that'll save you a lot of work. For now, blank page it is. And we'll skip the tour because that's what I'm doing, touring you. Haha. Skip. All right, we've made our page. Now it looks pretty like, well, much like nothing. But let's just call the page here what it's going to be. Okay, we're going to call this logo. Why? Because we're going to put a logo in here. We're going to pretend we're going to put a logo on this page for my, that's the logo for my dog, Pepper. And we'll put a logo on this page. And then you can put text down below. Now, we'll talk about content in a second and the block system that they've come out with over the last few years. But basically, you could start typing content in here or inserting a picture, and you would start putting content on the page. But don't worry, your website won't look like this. This is just where the content goes, and the cosmetics of your page, how it looks, its colors, its choices are done elsewhere. This is where the content goes into your page. But we've created one page called logo. Now we want to go back. To go back, just well, actually, oops, I don't want to say that. First, let's publish it. So we're gonna, or save draft. Either one is fine. But we're gonna publish this and say publish. And give it a second. There, the page is published. Now let's go back. To go back to the dashboard, we'll use the block editor sidebar. So we're gonna click on this little W here. Takes us back. And then view pages. And that gets us back really quick. So that's one of the quick ways to go back. You could use the back button, but I prefer to walk through those steps. So now we're back in the pages section. We're going to add another page. You can see our page called logo is here. Now we're going to add another page. This page we're going to put a poster. Well, I'm going to put a poster that I made for the dog show or the dog house sitting sort of business that we're pretending to create. Okay, so blank page again, and we'll call this one poster and publish and publish. Perfect. And then we're going to go back again and have a look at that page. Now you can always click on add new page and just keep adding multiple pages right here. I'll do that next in a second. But for now, we're going to go back. We clicked on the W and then view pages, and it brings us back here. Allows us to see our pages and see our status, which is cool. Let's add another one. Blank page. And here we're going to call this stories, or you could call it articles or whatever you want. This is we're going to put some actual articles or an article about my business or about my dog or whatever I'm pretending to do. Stories. Okay, and now we're going to say publish and publish. Now we're going to do one more page. That's going to be our home page. And in this case, I'm going to show you that you don't have to be constantly going back to check your work. You could just make 4 pages really quickly by constantly saying add new page. So let's do add new page this time to show you all the possible ways. Great, and blank page, and let's call this welcome. You can call it whatever you want, welcome, home. We can't call it home because there's an existing page called home, but we could change this later. So this is the welcome page or the landing page. And publish. Cool, and we are done. All right, great. Let's go back. So click on the little blog editor, click on all pages, and we're back. Okay, and we're gonna get rid of these little helpy things because we don't need that. And it's saying that we need to verify the email address, and that's pretty normal. Once you create a new page, you have to go with a new email address. You have to go into your email and find a mail that was sent from WordPress when you created your website to the email that you use to acknowledge that this is a legit email, that you're a real person. It's the usual stuff. To fully publish your website, you will have to go into your email that you used to create your account in WordPress. Go into that email, and there'll be an email that says, please confirm and verify your email address, and then you'll be able to do the final publishing of your website. Okay, so let's just actually, I'm just going to pause this quickly, and then we're going to get rid of this foolishness here by actually doing that final step of authorizing my email. Just a second. Okay, here we are in my email, and I'm going to activate this email. Click here to confirm now. It was an email from WordPress, as you can see. And that sort of activates my web page and gets it fully operational. That is a step you'd have to do when you create a new account with a new email in WordPress. Okay, so we've done that step. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to our site and we'll just refresh. Hopefully that gets rid of our little annoying ad up top. Perfect. So here we are looking at our pages. Excellent. I just clicked on pages to refresh it to get the view I'm used to. And you can see we've got what we want. Welcome, logo, poster, and stories. Now I've got this old home page, and it's called home page as the landing page of sorts, the main page that a visitor will go to when they type in your URL. I want to get rid of that page because it was made by WordPress, not by me, and I'm going to use my welcome page as my home page instead. So now I have to first change my home page setting to welcome. So I'm going to click on the little options ellipse here and say set as home page. With that page that I created now set as the home page, I'm now free to delete the last page that was made by default as a demo by WordPress. Trash. Good. Yuck. We don't want those home pages made by WordPress. We want our own. All right, so let's from here, let's look at the sort of theme and the look of our page, the general overarching theme. To do that, we're going to go down to appearance. And there's a bunch of options under appearance. Theme, customize, widgets, menu, all the work you have to do with menus on your page, and some additional CSS options, which if you're not familiar with, we probably won't get into in the most basic level of this quick how-to with WordPress. Okay, so let's go to appearance as we are and say themes. Now there's tons of themes, but you want to make sure that you're choosing free because we're going with a full-on free option, right? Free top to bottom. So let's click on free to filter out all the ones that are premium that will ask you to spend money. And we're trying to do this cheapy, no charge, no cost, just a free website. And let's scroll down. You'll see that there's all kinds of templates. What I can tell you is that finding the right template to suit the type of website you're making, be it a business or a blog or whatever, is so important. You can change this after you've started to build your site. It's not set in stone, but it's ideal to not change it. If you're working with certain layouts, they could get messed up a little bit if you change the template after you've started to build a lot of content, but it's not impossible to change the template after you've already been so far down the road in building your website. But great to get it right the first time and save yourself any heartache or trouble. I recommend for a beginner to choose something very simple, and one of the simplest ones is 2021. 2020 is also simple, and there's some other ones as well that are simple. But you're looking for a very, very simple layout for a first-time website builder. 2021 is ultra simple. It may be too plain and simple for you, so look for something else if you want. If you click on them, you can kind of see like a little preview of what it's like, and feel free to use whatever one you want for your own creative endeavors. You can do a live demo, you can activate it, and if you don't like it, just change it because you haven't really done a lot of content work yet, so it's okay to activate it, try it, and then switch to a different one if you don't like it. Okay, so let's do 2021 because it's really simple, and we're going to activate this and activate 2020. You can always preview it if you don't like it. Um, and it asks you if you want to edit the home page or view the site, but we've already got the site opened up there. So I'm just going to click outside of that button to get back here. All I did was click out in the open area outside of that prompt, and then I'm going to go back. And this gets me back into my dashboard. Now, if I go to the tab, remember we created this tab to view my site, and I just do a refresh. Boom, what I've got is a very plain site that's kind of got nothing on it, and no menu or anything because I've refreshed it. So let's start building some stuff. Okay, so we've got that basic theme selected. We can customize the theme now, and this is your next step. So you choose your theme, let's customize it. Okay, now you've got a pretty plain looking site as we said, but we're going to work our way down through all these options underneath the customization and set everything up. So start with site identity. Site identity is where you can give your site a title. And your title can be different than your URL. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Just avoid it being too unusually different so that you're not confusing your visitors or your customers or your audience, whatever it may be. So we are going to call this Pepper Doggo. You could have a space, for example, here if you wanted to. You would not have a space in the URL. Maybe you have an underscore, but that's not ideal. But you can have a space in the title that isn't in the URL. Pepper Doggo. Tagline, like the extra line. Let's see. Ever hear this line? My dog is my co-pilot. Used to be a really good magazine that had that as its tagline. I think it was Bark. There was a website called Bark, and the tagline for the magazine was "My dog is my co-pilot," which is pretty cool. And that looks good. Don't worry, these little blue things won't be here when you actually view it. Display the site title. Yes, a site icon. If you did have a logo or a site icon, you could upload it. It gives particular sizes of what size the logo should be, and you could put your logo in there. We're going to feature our logo in one of our pages, just sort of laying out our brand by showing our logo. So we'll leave that alone for now. Footer credit. Well, footer credit is when you choose what shows in the bottom. You have to have some kind of footer credit or it will ask you to pay. So we're going to say website built with WordPress. That sounds fine to me. You got to have something or it will ask you to pay. So free does require you to have some kind of advertising in the bottom. It doesn't really interfere that much. Okay, we're going to save changes. Always remember to click on save changes and the back arrow takes you back to the next step. Next, color and dark mode. So let's select a primary color from a sort of a theme color. Now, if you know exactly what your color is, you know your web code for your color, then you can just punch it in, or you can just play with your color choices here. Find something cool. Dark mode's pretty wild. I guess I could try dark mode. I don't know. Just for fun, let's try it. All right, so we'll try this dark mode. Lighten it up a little bit. Okay, cool. And we'll save changes. Okay, and let's go back. Next, background image. Background images are complicated. You'll have to upload something, and you could work with a background image. For example, this comes with the template, so it's kind of there. If I selected that and choose the image, then I get a background image instead of just a color, which if you choose the right type of background image, it will work, but be very careful not to choose a background image that makes it impossible to have a color that works to make all your text readable. If it's dark in one spot and light in another spot, then white text won't work over the light stuff, and dark text won't work over the dark stuff, and then your background image just becomes an epic fail because people can't read easily certain parts of your website because your background image is too different in contrast or not right for that purpose. So a color, nothing wrong with that. You can always put images in, put a background color. Background image is something to experiment with if you wish, and this is where you do it. Menus. We need to create a menu or we won't see our pages in this template. Now, some templates will automatically try to populate your pages for you, and that's great if you luck out and you get a website template that has the menu pre-defaulted for you. That's great, but often you'll have to create the menu to see the actual navigation menu for your web page. So let's learn how to add menus. Primary menu. So the primary menu really is currently set to primary menu. That seems weird, but basically you can have multiple menus and they'll appear here as like a menu for the top, a menu in the footer, a side menu. If you have multiple menus and you're getting advanced like that, then you'll have different menu options here. This theme in particular can have two locations. Let's view location. So here we have a primary menu and a secondary menu. This secondary menu might be in the footer. It might be down the side. It depends on the template. We're just going to simply work with the primary menu, which is probably going to be hopefully across the top here. I think it is. And we're going to work with it. So click on primary menu. If you did have multiple menus, they would show here, but we only have one set up right now. Let's go to primary menu, and you can see that we have two invalid things in here. What are these? These are the pages that we deleted that came with the template when we first chose it. So it's easy. We're just going to click on these, and we're going to remove. Let's remove each one of these invalid pages from the menu. See that? Remove. And now let's add items to our menu. It's pretty easy. We're just going to simply add all of our pages to the menu simply by going Welcome, Logo, Poster, Stories. We just click on all the buttons and they all load up over here and our menu is kind of made. That's it. There's one little thing you could do which is kind of cool is to add pages underneath other pages, which is kind of neat. If you choose the reorder option, did you see how I chose reorder here? If you choose reorder, you can do things like putting submenus in. And you won't need this for a simple website with multiple pages, but under the stories page, for example, if you had 10 stories and you wanted to have a separate page for each story, then you can actually put other pages underneath pages to make a subheading, or sorry, a submenu. And you've seen this all the time. We've all surfed the web. So we've all been on many web pages in our lives. We know what a submenu is or a drop-down menu. If you want to create a drop-down menu, you simply have to create multiple pages like story number 1, story number 2, story number 3, and then put those pages in your menu as child pages underneath a parent page. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about child pages and parent pages. All it means is this. I'm going to go back into reorder and I'm going to show you this. What if poster, this makes no sense, but just follow along. What if the poster page was one of my stories and I wanted it to be underneath the drop-down menu? When I click on the stories tab in my menu, a whole bunch of different pages such as posters show up. All I have to do is move it over with that arrow. When it moves over, you'll see that stories now has a drop down of poster. Isn't that neat? Now, if I want to get rid of that, I just say no thanks. I don't want poster to be underneath stories. I want it to be its own menu option. Now, this is really about website navigation and the theories around how websites should be set up for proper, clear, and easy navigation. This is what you would call the first level navigation or sort of a first tier level navigation. The second tier or the second step down level navigation is sort of like the next nesting doll within So Russian nesting dolls. Remember the toy that's like they used to call them Russian nesting dolls, and they were like one little doll within another doll within another doll within another doll. So it's sort of like Russian nesting dolls, and you have these multiple layers going in, and you have first level, second level, third level navigation. The moment you get to third level navigation, websites can get really complicated, but it's very normal to have a first level navigation, which is what you'll see in the menu, usually on the top or the side of a web page. And then sometimes these pages have additional pages grouped underneath them, and that's the second level of navigation. So if I click in and also move logo underneath and move logo in to the right, both poster and logo as pages will appear under stories as a drop-down menu for multiple pages underneath. So if I wanted to create a second level of navigation, that's how I do it. Create more pages and group them accordingly in the menu arrangement option. Okay, we're not going to do that though. We're just going to leave it like that. We're using these arrows to move these pages up and down to have them sort in the menu in the order that I want. And that's what these up and down arrows are for. So up and down arrows to move pages up and down, left and right arrows to change from what level of navigation you want the page to be. So we're kind of done. Okay, and the menu's made. We're going to save changes. We now have a menu. We're just rocking along here. We're making a web page. We don't have any content yet, but geez, we've got a working website. Go back arrow. Perfect. And back arrow again. And we're back to our main route of all of our options for our customization of our theme or our appearance of how our website looks. Next, content options. This could change depending on the theme you use, but this has a lot to do with blog display, how blogs are posted, how posts are handled. And if you're making a blog-based website where there's posts and stories being posted, then this has more application for you. But if you're using WordPress to just make a regular generic static sort of a web page that isn't about your blog posts, then you may not have much need for content options. This is saying if you're posting a lot of content, like it's a archive of your stories or your travel adventures or all that stuff, you're working with your content like an archive and a library of stories and posts. May not be important depending on your web page you're building. Next, what are widgets? Widgets are just little functional chunks or elements that can help your website with some functionality. An example of a widget is a search menu, or a search field, or a calendar with dates on it, or a little quote or a sidebar. This is sort of an introduction to the new way they do it. Let's say got it. And you can see that the place that's available to us is to put a widget in the footer. And the footer is down the bottom, and some themes or templates will have different locations, footer, header, sidebars, whatever, but the available areas that you can put these little widget functionalities changes based on your theme, and it's just one of the limitations of the free functionality in WordPress.com, but we can put something in the footer. So what the heck is a widget? How do you do it? Basically, in the footer, I can add with this plus sign any one of the possible widgets that are available. Now you can put almost anything in the footer, but if I scroll down and find the widgets section, you'll see what we're talking about here. A perfect example of a widget is a calendar. Okay, you could also put social media icons so people could click through to your Facebook, page or your YouTube channel if you had such things associated with your website. You can have additional navigation menus, top pages, author credits, references to things like, you can have a Facebook plugin right in there. You can have Flickr built right in. You can have, all kinds of cool little functions. These are little objects that are pre-coded and pre-built for you. Music player, RSS feeds, um, that sort of stuff. It's pre-built. It's in some cases it's limiting. There's your social icons. That's kind of cool. You can add, um, one of your social media icons and follow us at such and such or whatever. Um, let's go back and add something super simple though. We don't want to get into that totally. Let's go. Oops, sorry. Go back into widgets, and we will. This is just freezing on me here. Let's remove this block for a second. Okay, so let's add a new one. We're going to add the calendar. So add the calendar. And that's pretty much it. It's the simplest thing to learn. And there's a calendar at the bottom of your web page. So you've added a widget. Congratulations. That functionality for each one is a little different. You have to learn how to use it, but that's how widgets are added. And in this case, it's in the footer. Okay, let's save that change. You can have search menus and search fields and all kinds of widgets if you need them. Next, homepage settings. Now, um, we are going with a static page. Like I said, if you were building a posts-based or a blog-based website, your landing page, the page that people go to when they type in your URL, could be your latest post. But in the case of a more static traditional web page for a business or something else, static page is what you want, and it's by default. We've already set the home page to welcome. This is just another place that you can set the home page, but we did that in our pages uh, section, if you remember correctly. Let's see if this is worth mentioning today. On archive pages, please show. Nope, not going to worry about that for a basic level. Fonts. What font do you want? Um, and we can talk about this, but let's see if we can change our fonts. The block editor. Going into the block editor for the whole thing here. And here you're in the home page as an example, and you can make some choices here about what you want your font to be. And there's quite a few options available. Fun. And you can do font pairings if they've already been done for you. Let's try, that's pretty hip. And we're going to publish to save that. So just making choices about your font. And it sort of brings you into the block editor in a way to make those choices. And we've saved that. So let's go back to our pages, and we're going to go back to appearance if you remember, and we're going to go to customize theme. Perfect. And we were in fonts, and this would have brought us over to the block. And then there's additional CSS, which is sort of an upgrade, and we're trying to stay in the free world, so we'll leave that as well. Pretty basic. That's what's available there. Let's X out of that. All right, so we got themes. We were just in customize, widgets, menus. Background was, let's have a look at this button here. Same thing, just brings you into that same spot. So some of the quick options here are just quick grabs that are available to you in this drop down. But when you click on customize, you get a much more extensive list of the things you can customize. Okay, cool.
Learn stuff. Yeah.